1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update brought to you by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Gators center Micah Hanlogden announced that he will be entering the NCAA transfer portal. Hanlogden started 32 games for the Gators, but plans to transfer as he awaits a medical waiver for an extra year of eligibility. The Jumbo Shrimp start a 6-game series versus the Norfolk Tides tonight at 6:35. It's 63 degrees at 2 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
It's a rainy Tuesday out there, but you know what? It's still always a beautiful day in Duval.
Oh, yeah.
And
especially in this room, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
We can't see when it's
new calendar.
We do have a new calendar.
Wow.
It's this room when it's nice and sunny, we're like, oh man, we need to see the outside. But when it's gloomy, we don't have to see that it's gloomy outside.
That's right. We'll leave the gloom out there.
That's right.
But keep the good stuff inside, right?
We always bring energy to, I feel like, to the listening audience, right? And they bring energy to us as well. So even if you're having a day where you need some caffeine, the listeners will bring it to you.
Yeah. And we'll have a little fun along the way, a couple laughs. It's always a good time. Plenty to get into. Great game last night, if you're a Michigan fan especially. I did watch a good bit, by the way. I didn't make it to the end. I did. I woke up, though, when they were celebrating. And that's how I knew Michigan won, whatever time that was. But, I watched a good bit of it.
Well, the game tipped off a little before 9, like we talked about. So, probably like 11 something. I would say that this whole conference thing is what's really interesting. So, yes, Michigan wins its first basketball title in, almost 40 years?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And the fact that now we've got, I mentioned it yesterday, like the Big Ten is I feel like encroaching upon we're the best conference, like the best sports conference. And I feel like you have to look at it, though, in a sense of like, how many titles have each conference won in the big three of sports, right? Like football, men's basketball, and baseball. Sorry to all the other sports, y'all get left out.
Yeah.
But everyone, I feel like, outside of the SEC fans, feel like the SEC is an obnoxious conference. Is that true?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, but some Big Ten are considered that, too. Like Ohio State fans are
but
as
the Big
equal
Ten
to anybody in
conference
the
hasn't
SEC.
been obnoxious yet. Is it going?
They'll probably get there. And I think
what I was wondering.
I think that they have in ways because they are similar to the SEC. The difference is it was SEC winning so much for so long and a lot of different things, and now the Big Ten is kind of taking that over. So, of course, when that starts happening and people are winning, then they're talking about it more, and they're like, we're the Big Ten. But they still were in the conversation of, like, it's Big Ten and SEC versus everybody else is how it's always felt. And it's been, to be quite honest, it's kind of, that's the world that it's lived in. And so I do think because a lot of the conversations when we've had it of, having that overarching some sort of commissioner of college football rather than just the conferences, because it has felt like the Big Ten cares about themselves and the SEC cares about themselves, and we've never been able to come together, and that's where a lot of these issues. So the Big Ten is guilty in that because they've been just as about themselves more than college football as the SEC has. But now that they're winning, I'm sure this is going to just continue on because now it's, that was the conversation. It's been 26 years since the Big Ten's won the NCAA tournament, and now they have that. And now they have Indiana and Ohio State and Michigan winning the college football playoff and the SEC not being able to win a playoff game since it's been expanded pretty much. And so it's the struggle there is happening. And then you go back, I saw the stat, it was like 6-0. Big Ten was 6-0 against the SEC teams in the tournament this year. So that battle, it's fun from afar because being a Notre Dame fan, I'm not in either. So I'm like, you guys have fun and battle this out. But I could see it becoming more obnoxious.
Yeah, I mean, look, winning can do that, I mean, and it's different, with basketball, the East was pretty strong for a while, Syracuse and UConn, of course, Nova, those kind of guys, but the SEC reigned supreme for a long time. I mean, they were football and basketball, and then it went back and forth, a little cyclical between them and the Big Ten. Years and years ago, throw in the Pac-10 whenever it was, with USC and all of that. But it's a different era. I mean, those guys last night in Michigan, they're all portal guys. Signetti won from the portal. It's a different era of college sports and how you build a team. You know, the days of we draft these kids, we develop these kids, they stay with us the entire time, and we win a championship that way. You're still winning the championship, but it's a different way. You're almost buying the championship. You know, now granted, it takes the coach to bring them all together. So there's a lot of, truth in that. It's not like, hey, I get all the best players, I pay them the most money, and we're just going to come together. No, you got to get that chemistry together. You got to run the right offense, defense, using their skills and whatnot. But it's a different way to build a team. And I don't necessarily have a problem with it. It's just the way it is, But I wonder if some people do. Like, is it as pure today?
Oh, of course
as it was before? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, if Indiana would say, yeah, but we don't care. So what? We still are champions. I mean, look, I even said it before Indiana was relevant for 2 years, the last 2 years. They were middle of the road in the Big Ten.
They were one of the worst football programs of all time.
Forever.
Yeah. They were a basketball school.
Yeah. Well, they were a basketball school, right. Now, you could say the new era has allowed schools like Indiana to, make a run at the college playoff and the championship and all that. So it's just different. It's still sports. It's still college, hoops. It's just a different way of how they put it together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And again, you still got to win on the court. So, hats off to Michigan for winning it all.
You have to have a really good coach, regardless.
And the coach is great.
Indiana didn't spend what Ohio State spent the year Ohio State won the national championship, right?
Correct.
Yes, Indiana got a lot of transfer portal kids, but a lot of those were guys that
followed Signetti.
Yeah, were with Signetti at James Madison, but also he went in the portal and got experienced older people, older players that he was able to bring in and fit into his system right away. And other schools, obviously, yes, are doing it differently. Miami, the team that lost to Indiana in the national championship, they had, I would say, much bigger names when it came to the portal and what Mario Cristobal did. But if Miami had won, we would still be talking about the transfer portal because Carson Beck would have been the quarterback, obviously, that came from Georgia, and some other players too. Yeah. But you have to have a blend. It's just anytime a team wins a championship a certain way, which obviously Michigan, and Michigan, by the way, great defense. That's obviously why they won that game last night against UConn. But we're going to point to that and say, well, they were all 5 transfer portal guys. What's the formula to winning the national championship? Right now, it does feel like a mixture of transfer portal, maybe some recruits too, but transfer portal, because that's how Florida did it 2 years ago now, is Florida had guys that came in that had experience, and then you mix that in with Golden's recruits, and you end up with that formula. And so it can be done different ways, but it does feel like, certainly in basketball, I don't think we're going to see the freshmen, the starting 5 freshmen ever win again until maybe the transfer portal rules start to change again.
Right.
Yeah, but how Kentucky's once upon a time won and Duke's the lottery picks, the one and doneers, it doesn't feel like those teams are going to win right now.
What we are seeing is you can flip the product way quicker than what it used to take.
Especially
they were
basketball.
8-24 a couple seasons ago, and so you go from that to winning the national championship in 2 years. That's a drastic difference, but that's what happens when you can hit the portal a little more freely, when you can pay players and all of that kind of comes along with that. And that's what you look at other teams, and even in college football. And I do think maybe it's a little more difficult because you're building way bigger rosters, so you're having to deal with all of that, and you do, I think, have to hit the quarterback is so important in football I feel like in basketball you're like, if you have 7 guys that you feel like you can go out there and you're going to win a championship. In football it's a little deeper than that, and we've seen you have to have the quarterback right. So it will be, but I still think we're going to see some teams flip a little quicker. I mean, Indiana's an example of that in the sense of they were winning a national championship, and a few years ago you weren't talking about them. And so I do think it's possible, and that's what's going to be interesting. How much does that keep up? Because you do have to build these teams every single year, especially in basketball. You're pretty much building a whole new roster almost every single year. And in back-to-back years, Florida kind of did it this last year too. It just didn't work as well. You brought in several pieces like a Boogie Flan and some of these guys that you were expecting and did play major roles, and you just didn't get as deep. So you have to not only be able to get the guys out of the portal, but you have to get the right guys out of the portal that fit what you can do. And Michigan obviously did that this year, and it was a big turnaround for them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to have the right leadership, and they got to bring in the right guys. It just feels like professional sports. You're buying, you're trying to buy your way into the championship. You still got to win it. Still got to make the plays. But let's go find the best, and let's go find the best that fit our system, and let's go pay for them because that's what it's going to take.
Which means free agency over the draft in the sense of how we talk about the NFL.
Yeah.
It's really built through the draft ad with free agents.
Yeah.
In college sports, it's gone completely
changed.
opposite is what it feels like. Until a school wins with, and more probably football than basketball, but a school wins with far fewer transfer portal players.
Well, and that's going to be one of the keys, right? If they can make that change,
Like
one
Georgia.
transfer.
Yeah.
I saw or I heard today on one of the shows, Get Up, I think, 2,000 basketball players are in the portal.
That does not surprise me. It was,
2,000 right now.
over 900 after like an hour.
Yeah.
2,000, like,
Yeah.
where are you kids going to go?
Well,
Like,
it's interesting, for instance, like Micah Handlogton, the Florida center, right? He comes off the
Right,
bench, 7'1".
right.
He's entered the transfer portal, but he doesn't have any eligibility left. He's seeking another year because he had the medical hardship, even though he elected last season
To
for
come
Florida,
back and play,
for
yeah.
Florida to win the Natty to actually not redshirt anymore, even though he could have medically redshirted. So that's interesting. Like, he counts in the transfer portal, but this is a guy that doesn't have eligibility. Another guy in the transfer portal, Denzel Aberdeen, which is interesting. Started at Florida, won a national championship, then went to Kentucky, now back in the portal. It doesn't surprise me that he's in the portal because he's probably looking for another payday.
Yeah.
And
See,
you do
that's what's wrong with the whole
Correct. That's
thing.
why I would love to separate it. If you enter the transfer portal, you can't get paid. I've said that before. By the way, just to give the SEC and the Big Ten its due. So if you look at SEC national championships since the year 2000, so in the year 2000 and beyond, that would be 14 football national championships, 4 men's basketball. By the way, 3 out of those 4 is Florida, which is wild. And then in baseball, 12. So 14, 4, and 12. When it comes to the Big Ten, they have 5 national championships in football since the year 2000, 2 in men's basketball, and 0 in baseball. So take that, Big Ten. You're still the little brother of the SEC when it comes to natties in the last 26 years.
Last 26 years, right?
Yeah. Let's talk about the last 10 and compare the
or
two.
last, 3 or 4.
Yeah. Yeah, if
know?
you look at the last 5 years. I just think it's changing. I mean, we talk about the football landscape changing, the college sports, the college athletics changing. And I do think that this is why I've been a fan of certain aspects when it comes to the college football playoff expansion and the paying of players. I think we still need more guardrails, but I do think it's helped certain schools like in Indiana and some of these schools that are now can be more competitive, because what he did is hit the portal and it was a bunch of kids that were like, I can still go make money. Maybe I'm not making as much money if I go to Florida, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and I still have a chance of making the college football playoff. When years ago, that wasn't even in the conversation. When it was a 4 teams, you're not getting in if you're not one of those, a Georgia, Florida, Alabama, LSU. It felt Ohio State. It felt like it was those teams every single year. And now you do get money. And we've heard Ed Ogeron went on about it. He was like, the SEC has been doing this for a really long time. It's just they're paying the guys in the back door. Now other teams have the opportunity to do it. And that is opening up a lot of chances for other schools, and whether it's basketball, football, whatever the case may be.
It's been an equalizer for sure. It sure has. But again, it's just, and maybe it's for the money, whatever. It's just that you can't transfer more than once. I just think that's ridiculous,
Yeah, I don't think.
And then is there any academics for any of them? Like, or does the school decide? You know what I mean? Like, if they, like.
Like, if you're failing, can you transfer?
Can you still, play in the game if you don't go to class? You know what I mean? And for the record, if they opened that window even a tiny bit, that I didn't have to go to class, I wouldn't have even gone to class at all.
It feels like when I worked at University of North Florida, this would have been about 10 years ago now, they had a compliance department, and that was their job, was to, make sure and measure those standard academic progress reports and ensure that every single player on every team was actually progressing when it came to their academics. And that was a lot of work for every single student athlete. I have no idea if compliance even exists at the D1 level.
Well, you got it, like Notre Dame. I'm sure they got Boston College.
It's like less strict, but it's definitely still there. There was just one of the wide receivers they got, and that was the first thing from Ohio State. He said, I have to actually go to class at Notre Dame, and I'm not used to that. That's what he said in one of his first press conferences.
Guys, once again, guys and girls, you're supposed to be going to get a degree. That was how this all started.
Making money. Forget the degree.
Whatever. By the way, as far as next year's men's basketball odds, I saw Duke has the best odds to win it all, 9-1, and then Florida 11-1, Arizona 14-1, Kansas 16-1, Michigan and Michigan State and Illinois all 16-1 as well. So,
By the way,
a good mix.
Did
Can't
you
wait till
see
next
that
March.
19 of the last 21 have been 1 seeds or UConn?
Wow, no kidding.
Yeah,
We really
Florida-
mixed it
that
up
have
this
won.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Florida was a 1 seed, obviously 2 years ago, but only once of the 2 years back in 06-07. One of those years, I think the first year Florida was not a 1 seed.
Okay.
In 06.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of those years. All right, more to do on the other side, including some Jaguars football. Don't go anywhere. You are listening to Helmets and Heels on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Making your sports day last a little longer.
That's all I wanted to know. That's all I wanted to know. Thanks a million.
Go into the night with Rick Ballou.
Amen, right? That's right. Yeah.
Then it's Hacker After Dark.
I know. It's amazing.
Evenings on 1010XL.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Covered by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
After attending a Saturday bumps and bruises clinic by Southeast orthopedic specialist, my son's hip and shoulder issues were diagnosed quickly, and he's back playing. As a busy family, we really appreciate their prompt attention.
I've been having knee problems for probably 6 months, and I had heard about Southeast Orthopedics on the radio, and I gave them a call. They got me right in. Dr. Kevin Murphy did it. It was painless, and it's been doing fantastic.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Owning a house is kind of like being in an argument with your house. One day it's the AC saying, I'm tired. The next day it's the plumbing going, good luck finding that leak. Then the septic system joins the conversation. And nobody likes what it has to say. That's when you call Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. One team that handles all three: plumbing, septic, and air conditioning. So the next time your house tries to win the argument, call Duck Duck Rooter. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
If you want more teal in your daily diet, Jaguars Today with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. Exclusive guests, sharp analysis, and non-stop Duval football. Served by Renewal by Anderson, custom windows and doors. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Got a dent or a scratch that needs fixing? San Jose Collision in Mandarin offers expert auto body repair and works with all insurance. Family owned and locally trusted. San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
Here's hoping for a Raise the Roof football season. And here's knowing Next Gen Roofing is up for any job. Game day or storm season, you need a team you can trust. And you know what? You don't need a glitzy roofing company. No shortcuts, no gimmicks, no nonsense. Solid roofs at competitive prices and a commitment to the First Coast community. Right now, save up to $300 on your next roof replacement. When you need a roof, you need Next Gen Roofing. Team with you, it's a win every time.
Need or want cash? Beach's Jewelry and Pawn has cash available, ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beach's Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
By the way, I hope Todd Golden was paying attention last night during that Michigan-UConn game. Michigan ended up winning, of course, but the shooting percentage, defensive shooting percentage for Michigan, 38.4%, which is the best in the country all season long. And then they averaged blocks, 6.1 blocks per game, second best in the country. So I know Florida was really good at rebounding, but if you're going to try and win the national championship next year, we talked so much about the guard play and you got to hit threes and things like that. That defense is, like I said, the reason that that Michigan won that national championship. All right, let's talk a little bit of Jaguars football. Liam Coen was asked last week, of course, about his quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, as he was at the owners' meetings. And here is what he had to say.
Going into the process, from watching tape, I was like, all right, this dude is tough. I do think he's tough. Yeah. I mean, he takes shots, gets up, doesn't say a word, has played hurt, has missed time. Then, and look, 4 new systems. Multiple different head coach situations, OCs, whatever it is. Go throughout the season. And you find out, I mean, doesn't miss a single practice. Doesn't miss a single throw in practice. Right. Played the whole season. Obviously, MVP finalist, comeback player of the year finalist. Did some great things. There's so much room to continue to improve. Yeah. And I think that's what we're excited about attacking. But when you start with A, humility, and B, toughness, mentally and physically, I think you can do a lot with a quarterback. And we spent a lot of time in San Francisco at the Super Bowl together and going through, that week. And I got to see a different side of him, hang out with him in a different lens. And I think I'm really excited about working with Trevor again this year. Good.
Yeah. Awesome.
You'd hope he's excited, considering he was an MVP finalist.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, we knew that Trevor was tough. He'd been tough his whole time he's been here. Yeah, and we knew he was tough mentally because of the way he would stand up there at the podium as a rookie. You're like, oh my gosh, kids get killed, and he's still up there, saying the right things and doing the right things. So we knew that he was tough, and he's right that toughness and humility, man. You can, and not just a QB, anybody. You can, for sure, you can get anybody going. Especially if they have that want to. And he's got all the talent. So yeah, I think the biggest thing will be. That was the first year with Liam, right? So teams will study that all year long, and they'll come up with a game plan thinking that this is how we're going to try to stop what we saw all on tape throughout the offseason, right? Now, the job of the OC and Liam is to mix it up a little bit, keep them on their toes, and they'll do that. But that's where the real test comes, because there'll be more disguises. Like if he's got really better on the pre-snap, right? Well, the teams know that. So now they're going to try to mess with him a little bit and see if he can figure it out. Maybe he can. Maybe he can't. We'll find out, if and when he does. I think that's the biggest test. You know what I mean? Because they'll just, look, again, it's for the whole team, really, because nobody expected them where they were. They came out of nowhere. They were 4-13. Nobody thought the Jags were going to be a contender in the AFC or in the NFL, above all. But now they do. Now they're like, okay, they got a legit team. Look what he did. Well, let's go study how he made that quarterback so much better, because we saw him be good at times. We saw him struggle at times. Even last year in the beginning of the year, he was good, and then he wasn't so good. And we thought we had issues, and then he put it all together, and then went on this rip for weeks and weeks and weeks, and had this unbelievable output. And look at him, he's MVP candidate. Like, let's go figure out how do they do that? Let's go watch the tape and see if we can figure out how they do that. But that doesn't mean they can figure it out. I'm just saying, like, now the target's on you. Now the bullseye's on you. And they're going to try to figure out a way to dismantle what you've been building since you got here last year. And that's why that attitude that he's instilling is, hey, we go back to square one. Because that's what they are going to do. That's what the enemy is going to do. They're going to study us. They're going to try to figure us out. And we got to be one step ahead of them, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the mental toughness of Trevor, I think a part of that is the taking to the criticism very early. Like you have a new coach come into the building, and the first thing he tells you is, your mechanic. We're changing all of this. Like, this isn't the way that you should be throwing the football. This isn't the way your feet should be. There's all of these things. And his whole life, he's probably been told, you have all the tools, just go play. You're great, And so I think having somebody come in here and very quickly, some guys don't take to that very well. And I think most quarterbacks are better at it, but there's definitely probably some in the league that would have been like, wait, you just got here. I've been doing this since I was 12 years old and it's been working. I've won a lot of games, and he wasn't. He was very open into learning and some of that. But I do think that offensively, some of the things that you want to see continue is the run game, which obviously he mentioned, the consistency in that run game, continuing to let Trevor use his legs, because to me, that was one of the biggest things that helped. And honestly, I think his legs might have made the offensive line look a little better than what they were at times last year, because he was so aware in the pocket. And it was the most aware we've seen him since he's been on the Jags when it comes to being able to evade pressures and sense pressures. And the previous year, it was becoming a mess at times of him running away from fake pressures and turning into guys. And it was not looking very good. And this year, it completely changed. It felt like at moments he was the reason that the offense was functioning at the level it was, especially late in the season. And so, to your point, Tommy, I think defenses are going to look at that now. That's going to be one of the things, like, whoa, Trevor can use his legs. Most teams didn't realize he could run the way that he did.
He could, but he wasn't.
He was hesitant at times and wouldn't make that decision, wouldn't kind of pull the trigger on the run. Yeah. Right. And so now they're like, well, this is part of his game now. So I do think that's something defensively a lot of people are going to come in here and have their eye on when it comes to, I don't know if that's put a spy on him because he's not Patrick Mahomes or Lamar, but sometimes you may have somebody whose game plan is to be like, don't let Trevor take off.
Listen, he is deceptively fast.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6'6", and he runs probably a 4.6, which is fast. I mean, it's not 4.3 blazing, but it's fast, especially when you're that tall. So, and look, the whole thing of letting it rip is like, look, man, you're a weapon. Feet, arms, legs, just go play. Go make a play. And you saw that in Trevor. You saw that running was different. So you're right, Taylor. They're gonna add that to the mix and see if they can figure it out. And but again, every team does that. We're doing it to other teams. We're studying them. You're gonna go back to I'm sure they've been over the Bills tape a lot. Yeah. After they took their break or before they took their break, and then after the break, and they're like, all right, how did we lose this game?
Yeah,
and let's figure out how not to lose it.
I would have rewatched obviously the games against the Seahawks. Seahawks ended up winning it all, but also the Seahawks limited you to 12 points. What did the Seahawks do defensively that obviously had this team not putting up the same types of points that they were later in the year? The Rams, I don't know about the Rams. I don't know how many times I'd really want to watch that game because I feel like everything just spiraled out of control early on. But the Texans game for sure is another one.
Yeah.
Like, what were those defenses doing that got the Jaguars off their schedule?
Yep.
And we also, by the way, going back to Trevor's mental toughness, 2022, he throws 4 interceptions in the first half against the Chargers, battles back in the second half.
Totally.
Like, that certainly goes to show us that. But yeah, I think if there's one characteristic that you maybe wouldn't expect Trevor to have because of the on-field success that he's had, now the financial success that he's had in addition, and winning a national championship when he was at Clemson in college, is the humility part. Like, you would expect someone that's lived the life that he's lived to have far more arrogance and to be, yes, his rookie year didn't go well, but pretty quickly early on, once Doug Peterson got here, he was playing really well. And he's never lost that humble side.
Well, look, after meeting his dad at one of the games, I can figure out how he stayed humble for so long. Yeah, that's a big man. I'm sure he was very involved. But listen, no, he has been, and that's upbringing. It is. I mean, everything.
100%. Almost
pretty much everybody you meet, that's part of it anyway. And he's a great advocate for the city, for the team. He handles the criticism really well. I'm sure inside he's like, what? I can't believe some of these people.
They won't block for me.
Yeah, but
we can't run the football.
He was different. So his job is to do what? Take those last 5, 6, 7 weeks and bottle it up, and let's make it happen. Throw in the San Fran game, throw in the Kansas City game when he performed well. Let's bottle those games up and bring it right from the get-go. Another thing they're going to be studying, too, because since we were talking about that, how, like, studying that Raider tape, studying that Cardinal tape.
Yeah.
How'd you let him back in? Why'd we let him back in? I'm sure Campanelli's looking at all that tape and his defensive staff to figure out, all right, what did we not do to stop this from happening? Right. Maybe it was a mental mistake, maybe it was a missed tackle, maybe it was just a bad read, whatever the case may be. We do know with Seattle, the tight end beat us like 3 times. and it was Dewey for the most part, or at least two of those times, and he bit on the run fake. Remember, it's chunk plays. Other than that, Seattle really didn't do that much that game, other than who was it, Barnwell?
AJ Barner.
Barner, yeah. He had that big 60-yarder.
Yeah.
And then there was another one that the other tight end, I think, got. Or maybe it was the same tight end, but it was 2 plays or 3 plays, and that was pretty much
JSN
it.
had one big one.
No, JSN did. He did. That was against Newsome, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah. We were talking the other week about those defensive stats that are so incredibly important, and I thought about this after the show, is explosive plays allowed. That's another one that I would put in that mix of what are the offenses doing to, pick you apart.
Yeah.
The Jaguars, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but the Jaguars definitely allowed too many explosive plays this past season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what would kill them a lot of times. To your point, Tommy, even against some of the better teams, it wasn't that they were just completely gutting the defense. It was that they would have 3 or 4 big plays in that game. Seattle was the perfect example of that. But 3 or 4 big plays. Also, why certain teams like the Raiders and the Cardinals game went deeper than it was closer than probably it should have, because there was those just 2 or 3 explosive plays that were allowed that kept those teams in it. And obviously, I think turnovers are a part of that too, because when you go to your point, Lauren, when you talk about Houston, like an opposing defense is going to watch both of those Houston games, even though the Jags won that first one.
Right.
Trevor had 1 touchdown and 2 picks in those games. It was his lowest passer ratings were against Houston. So they're going to go back and they're going to look at those 2 teams and say, what was Houston doing to Trevor? Because clearly that's also familiarity. Houston's now played Trevor a lot of times, and now these teams have this film on Trevor. So you want to be able to, they're going to come in doing that. But to your point also, how much did we even really get to see? How much did Liam Coen, and was he able to fully open his offense? Because you were working on way too many things in the beginning. You're trying to get lined up and not get false starts and illegal formations for the first 8 or 9 weeks. And then you started dealing with injuries midseason, and then you get a new receiver in here in Jacoby Myers. And so it really probably wasn't until week 10 or 11 that Liam Coen was even able to start doing some of the things he wanted to do offensively. So that's a positive too, because how much did he really open the playbook? And he probably wasn't able to a whole lot in those first several weeks.
Well, he had to get away from the screen game eventually.
Yeah.
He loves the screen game, and he mentioned what the stink is. It was the running game, and that whole thing. So that's something that has to be better. It'll help Trevor a ton to continue to grow.
Should he have also said part of the stink was that he didn't run the ball against the Bills that had one of the worst run defenses in the NFL?
That would have been a great follow-up question, LB. Are you stinky,
So
coach?
do you stink, Liam, at certain times?
When you say run game, obviously part of that is play calling too.
Totally,
And we've talked about how many times is Trevor audibling out of a run play. Like we don't know
those numbers,
those
right.
things. Right.
Yep.
Yeah. But in the end, the Jaguars offense, the fact that they don't have to learn a new system, Greg Udinski is obviously retained. And then the fact that Liam Coen will, of course, continue play calling. Trevor has had multiple systems, as Leah mentioned in that cut, too.
Yep.
To not have to relearn a new system learn a new system is going
Massive.
to make things, make things much more palatable, and I feel like process so much faster.
And he'll get even better at pre-snap. Because he just learned that to the
and
way
his
Liam
mechanics
taught him.
will come
Should be a lot
naturally,
better.
much more naturally. Yep. Exactly. All right, more Trevor / Fernando Mendoza talk on the other side. You're listening to Helmets and Heels. It's 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
Mike Dempsey, if you're thinking about a bathroom upgrade, maybe turning that old tub into a safer walk-in shower, check out 5 Star Bath Solutions. I shopped around, talked to several companies, and I chose 5 Star because their customer service was simply incredible. Responsive, honest, upfront about the entire project, and their pricing was even better than expected. When you're ready for a fresh look, better comfort, and a bathroom space you'll love using every day, schedule your free consultation at 5starbathsolutions.com and get the 5-star experience.
Spring is here. Time to get your lawn ready before summer heat and bugs set in. Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. They offer preventative chinch bug treatments, pre-emergent weed control, and granular fertilization, all with no contracts. This helps prevent problems before damage occurs, keeping lawns thicker, greener, and stronger. Call today to schedule your spring treatment. Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Hey, Tom McManus here for Armstrong Fence Company, a locally owned and operated business on the First Coast for nearly 20 years. Known for reliability, quality craftsmanship, and professional service, Armstrong Fence handles it all, from big projects like stadiums and schools to your own backyard. Basically, they build a wicked strong fence, and they do it right the first time. When you need a fence, trust Armstrong Fence Company. Yeah, we did the fence.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan.
Jacksonville, are you ready to get back to the activities you love this spring? McHugh Health has helped patients for over 10 years relieve joint pain and rebuild tissue without surgery. Their regenerative medicine therapies reduce inflammation and restore mobility so you can hit the golf course, pickleball court, or softball field with ease. Don't live with pain. Schedule your free consultation today at mchughhealth.com. That's MCHUGH health.com.
At the First Coast YMCA, you'll find much more than just a gym. We offer many ways to help you become more active, reach your weight loss goals, and find your inner strength. Membership at the Y includes state-of-the-art facilities, a huge variety of fitness classes, and programs for all ages. It's easy to join the Y since it's affordable for all incomes. The Y is a great place to make connections and experience something new. Visit the YMCA near you or online at fcymca.org.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
When your home or business deserves more than ordinary glass, you trust the experts. Capital Glass and Shower Doors has been elevating spaces for over 40 years with precision, craftsmanship, and clean, modern design. From sleek frameless shower enclosures to elegant glass railings, wine cabinets, and any custom glass that makes a statement, Capital Glass delivers unmatched quality, service, and attention to detail. Your vision, their expertise. Capital Glass and Shower Doors at capcoglass.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
So Fernando Mendoza will not be attending the NFL draft in Pittsburgh. He wants to hang out with his family in Miami. He'll be the first #1 overall pick to not attend the draft since 2021 when Trevor Lawrence was at home in Georgia. And so I just wanted to mention that because I feel like these guys should get to choose however they want to celebrate.
Yeah.
And I would certainly be of the camp of being at a family member's house and celebrating with family.
Yeah, Trayvon wasn't there either, I see.
That's right. I remember that.
The year after, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame
You
him.
have way more people that you get to be around if you do it, and whether it's a family member's house or like your high school gymnasium or college, entity or place like auditorium.
Yeah.
Than if you're going to the draft where you can only bring a few people.
Who was the big tackle? Joe Thomas was like, I'm going fishing. He's the third pick in the draft. He's like,
I mean, good for him, though.
I'm just fishing.
Yeah.
So you want to draft me, then draft me.
Because what
Like
if
just sit around and wait?
Right. Fernando Mendoza's not going to slide, but what if, you slide, then literally
Shador
it's
didn't think he was going to slide.
Right. It's so uncomfortable. All the cameras are on you. You're sweating profusely. Your girlfriend looks annoyed.
Yeah. And I think, we've seen some weird videos with dads and girlfriends, and we don't need all that happening. But I do think that, to each their own in that, because that experience it like some are like, yeah, family, I want to be with my family in the comfort of my home and have like the meal I want and just be able to sit on my couch. And some people may just be like, man, I've been dreaming about this my whole life. I want to walk out on the stage and see all the people, and like, you know, different personalities are going to want different things. I don't think either one is right or wrong.
You know, I wonder if because his mama has isn't she in a wheelchair or something? Maybe he wants to be
I want
with
to say
her.
it's MS.
Does she have MS?
Yeah,
God
something along
bless
those
her.
lines.
But maybe that's part of it, you know,
Yeah.
because it'd be better to be right next to her. He does. I mean, when he did his Heisman speech, where he's like, "You're my why, you're my everything," you know. So I could only see him wanting to, you know. I wonder if he's going to take her with him to Vegas. Maybe he'll cut the cord. I would cut the cord, but at least for draft night, go be with your mom.
His dad is a doctor, right? And so I'm pretty sure he has a successful practice in Miami.
I didn't mean money. You know what I meant. Cut the cord. Like, Mozzie, you got to cut the cord sometimes. Let the boy go play.
I did read that Fernando Mendoza was a kind of
Jaden's cord is still there. Jaden Daniels.
We're not talking about cable.
Get out of the way, would you?
Fernando Mendoza was on the path of, I want to say, Jaguars backup quarterback that went to Bishop Kinney, John Wolford.
John Wolford,
He was kind of on that path of, I'm going to work in finance. And then, oh, wait, I'm still playing football. So, okay, I'll do this. And so when Fernando was at Cal, he was already studying finance. And then he made sure he graduated within 3 years. And then that way, when he went to Indiana, he studied got his master's degree, and wants to do some sort of Wall Street after the NFL. But that's assuming, I mean, he may end up
He's like,
playing for
I'm
10
kind of
years.
good at football.
Yeah. Well, run your own money, though.
Yeah.
You know,
But yeah,
trust
he used
your
his
own money.
NIL to pay like his final 3 classes out of pocket at Cal
Yeah.
Berkeley. And then, like I said, got his master's at Indiana. All right, we were talking about explosive plays. And so when it comes to, I found a grid that has not every team in the NFL, their explosive plays. We won't go through them all, obviously, but each one is broken into 4 quadrants. So bad offense, good defense. The Broncos, by the way, are in that category. Bad offense, good defense.
Okay.
Then you've got bad offense, bad defense. The teams you would expect are in there, the Titans and the Jets and the Cardinals. And then you've got good offense, bad defense. That's where you'll find teams like the Bears, the Bills, the Ravens. And then good offense, good defense, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Patriots. No surprise there. The Jaguars are in there. The Packers and the Vikings are also in there. So just thought it was interesting. The Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos allowed the fewest explosive plays in 2025. The teams that allowed the most, the Giants, the Cowboys, and the Bears.
Okay.
I'd be interested to see, because I know you said this is through the regular season, adding the postseason into that, how much it would skew the Patriots, because their offense died in the postseason.
True. For sure.
And so how much did those few games they played in the postseason alter that?
Yep.
Because that was so much of the conversation for them throughout the season, was how easy their schedule was. And then they got to the postseason and played some good defenses, and all of a sudden the offense got exposed a little bit. Obviously, you still make it to the Super Bowl, so whatever. But it would be interesting to see the numbers included with the postseason, because I think some of those teams would kind of skew drastically with, not drastically, but a decent
Some
amount
of
at
it,
least.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially if you look at only the postseason.
The
for
Jags
sure.
probably be the same, you know.
Yeah, not as much, because I think they only had one game.
Right.
And
As
so
opposed to 3.
Yeah, having 3 games of bad offense.
Yep.
And I don't know if you would say, like, Jags offense was good so in the postseason. Their
Yeah.
defense just struggled. So the defensive may change in that. I saw an interesting stat, too, is from Warren Sharp, sticking on the explosive plays, because he was talking about how important it is to generate explosive plays in the current NFL. So in the last 5 years, if a drive has 0 plays of 15-plus yards, there's a 15% score rate, 6% touchdown rate, and 0.7 points per drive. If a drive has just 1 play of 15-plus yards, it goes from 15% score rate to 60. It goes from 6% touchdown rate to 34% touchdown rate, and then 0.7 points per drive to 3.1 points per drive, just by having 1 play over 15 yards.
Yeah, I guess because you've got the defense on their heels, and that would be part of it. By the way, everyone...
Well, now you get a field goal also kicking a 60-yard. That's 3 points right there.
right.
So
That's
it's
right.
like the teams that now, the kickers that can make it, you get over there and you're scoring, get past the 50.
Yeah, I was thinking touchdowns only, but yeah, for sure, if you can have a kicker like that. Everyone defines explosive plays a little differently. The one that I was looking at, that grid, it is the rush yards 10-plus per play, and then passing yards 20-plus. So yeah, some people define explosive play with 15 yards per play. In the end, what it means is those chunk yardage that certainly the offense ends up in a much better position because of that 1 play.
Yeah, and I would say the running game. They gave up some, but not very many.
No,
there
I
were
think
a couple,
that's what
though.
helped. Certainly,
There was a couple games where they didn't give up a lot of yards, but the yards they gave up were 2 or 3 runs type thing. But yeah, no, I mean, look, they got it. We know on if you're giving up leads, you're giving up plays, right?
Mhm.
It's not, I mean, they didn't get dinked and dunked all year long. You know what I mean? And they gave up. There were 6 games where they gave up leads. And you got to limit those things. So that's just hitting the QB for sure. We weren't better. Got to be better at that.
Mhm.
And then just better in coverage, and not having the mistakes, not biting on fakes, not being out of position. I'm thinking of the big plays in Seattle. I'm thinking what you mentioned, JSN, that was outside coverage with no inside help. I remember clear as day, and he was open like it was clear as day. It was great play by them. The tight end we talked about. You think of other plays where it's just like the Buffalo game.
Bills, I was about to say.
Man, you're doing now that. I don't want to say he dinked and dunked us because his average was about 8 yards, and his Josh Allen, and his completion percentage was 80% that day. So it wasn't like he was just dumping it off.
He was doing all of it is the problem.
Yeah, but remember, he was hitting Shakir that was 11 for 11.
Yeah.
And a lot of those were like 7 to 15 yards, just like in routes or, option routes or dig routes that are a little bit deeper. Hit the tight end a few times down the field.
Yeah, I wonder how many teams have won if they've allowed 80% completion to the opposing quarterback. I feel like that would be very
especially
minimal.
if they're throwing it down the field, right? If you're just thumping it off, then maybe you corral them, you run to the football and they don't go anywhere, but not when you're at 8 yards a clip.
Because that's what you've seen oftentimes with Tua. Tua will have 77% completion percentage, but it is a lot of like that.
6 yard.
Yeah. And so from that, you're not technically, that's not correlating to wins necessarily. It's just kind of padding some of those numbers is what that looks like sometimes.
Which look, again, that makes those first 4 picks very important, in this draft, especially if you go defense, which you keep seeing a lot of defensive players in different mocks.
100%.
From at least for the second and third round.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to hit on them. There's no doubt. I know that the yesterday with Dexter Lawrence and all that talk, I don't know how they're going to make that happen. If they did, great. Obviously, he's a phenomenal defensive lineman.
We know they've called the Giants on Dexter Lawrence.
Well, yeah, but, a lot of people
Everybody's
called. Who
right.
wouldn't
all
call
31 other teams probably called.
Well, I heard something yesterday when we were making dinner. It was on ESPN. They said the Quinnen Williams deal is probably a good one-on-one for Dexter Lawrence. That was a 1 and a 2, to give up to get him. Now, we don't have a 1, but would you mortgage it out another year, 20?
And would they accept that?
And would they accept that? Correct. So, I don't know. Listen, obviously, he'd be a great upgrade, on the interior defensive line. We need that. But you also, and he wants to get paid more, so he's at 20 now. I'm sure he wants to get up there a little bit. Do you want to do that? But again, the window, right? I mean, if it's win now at all costs, like college football is, they got to win now, then you go for it and make it happen, and however you got to make that happen, you do it because maybe he is that missing link,
Yeah, the report I saw, Packers, Bears, Jaguars, and Bills are the 4 teams confirmed, at least so far. But like you said, we can dream about it.
Yeah.
It just takes resources that maybe this organization in the moment doesn't have. All right, Tom's take on the other side. You are listening to Helmets and Heels 1010XL 92.5 FM.
There's something about hearing the game live that makes it all come to life. Feel the energy on 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Are you an experienced automotive technician and tired of working for employers who put profit over people? Then come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road and get trained on how to diagnose and rebuild today's complex transmissions. See how we're different. Get traction on your career and come to Action.
Equal opportunity employer.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Backed by
Morgan & Morgan.
Spring is here. Is your yard ready? Lucas Tree Service, a family-owned business with over 45 years of experience, is Jacksonville's certified arborist for safe tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for homes and businesses. Protect your property, boost your curb appeal, and enjoy expert service you can trust. Keep your trees healthy and safe before summer arrives. Schedule your inspection today at lucastreeservice.com.
Go beyond spring cleaning this year with spring organizing. Lauren Brooks here. I love our organized closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live. From closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, storage for every space and budget. Make an appointment today to tour their showroom on Phillips Highway and get 40% off plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free consultation at 904-878-9393 or find them online, closetsbydesign.com.
This is Jeff Middlecoff with Cogent Bank. My associate Ryan Salem and I joined Cogent Bank because we wanted to revolutionize the mortgage business, just like Cogent Bank has revolutionized the banking business. So Ryan Salem and I are able to leverage the power and stability of Cogent Bank to go out and find our clients the best investors, the best products, and the best rates in the entire country for your particular mortgage loan. Of course, you don't have to be a customer at Cogent Bank to take advantage of our mortgage services to buy or refinance your home. We offer jumbo loans, VA, FHA, conventional and investment loans. At Cogent Bank, we offer mortgages nationwide, so we can help you with a second home or help a family member who lives or is moving to another state. Call Ryan Salem or myself, Jeff Middlecoff, at Cogent Bank today, 904-442-9191, to see how we can help you with any of your mortgage loan needs, whatever or wherever they may be.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender, Cogent Bank, NMLS ID, 402296, Ryan Salem, NMLS ID, 1182429, Jeff Middlecoff, NMLS ID, 249086.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey ham, melted cheddar and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's the event everyone waits for, now at Beard's Diamonds. Buy one, get one free on all wedding bands. Save up to $10,000. Beard's has case after case of designer bands for men and women. White gold, yellow gold, rose gold, titanium, and platinum. Buy his, get hers free. Buy hers, get his free. The big box corporate jewelry stores can't do this, but Beard's can. Buy one wedding band, get the second one free. Now through April 19th. Beard's Diamonds, your local jeweler at St. John's Town Center.
Hello, I'm Ed Jackson, president of Ned Jackson Income Tax. Ned Jackson Income Tax has been preparing tax returns in Jacksonville for over 80 years. Our tax preparers at Ned Jackson Income Tax have years of knowledge and experience to help you get your highest possible tax refund and are fully trained on all IRS updates, including the One Big Beautiful Bill. Visit one of Ned Jackson's 4 locations, including our downtown office at 255 North Liberty Street. That's Ned Jackson Income Tax, 356-0349.
It's your boy E to the T here, and the Clay County Fair turns 40 this year. The rides, the music, the fun, and of course, the food eating contest hosted by Team 1010XL. I'll be there too, looking for you. April 2nd through the 12th. Learn more at claycountyfair.org.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Hey, adults. Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this rainy Tuesday afternoon. Hope everybody drives safely out there. Time now for Tom's Take.
Now, Tommy's Takes. Protected by Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com, or dial #law. That's all.
All right, my takes today on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan, is a little bit of baseball, because I was just kind of roaming around and I saw where Wilson Contreras from the Red Sox had a warning for the Milwaukee Brewers. I was like, oh no, I like this. I want to read this. But one thing that not threw me off, but I couldn't believe it. Contreras has been hit by a pitch 131 times in his career.
Yeah.
131 times. Have you ever been hit by a pitch? Now, I've never been hit by a Major League Baseball pitch, but I've been hit by a pitch like as a kid.
Yeah.
And that stings like a mofo. I mean, like unbelievable, especially where depending where it hits you.
Oh, yeah.
But 131 times. And by the way, the Brewers have done it 24 times, which is 10 more than anybody else in the entire league against him. So he's like, look, man, you do it again, I'm taking one of your guys out. I absolutely love it. I love that part about baseball. It's kind of like hockey, take it into your own hands to a certain degree. You know, if you beam one of my guys, I'm going to beam you. You know, it's just part of the deal. You know, I like that part of baseball, but man, I couldn't believe 131 times. Just all those. It's like the paintball at close range. Just take your shirt off and dang, dang, dang. Just unbelievable. That's my takeaway today, man. Those baseball players are a lot tougher than I thought they were, and brought to you by Morgan & Morgan. But 131 times. Is that like what is normal? Like, what is an average, hitter, baseball player get hit in a career like this? Is it like how many times a year? Like, so there's 162 games?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how many games out of 162 is somebody getting hit?
Yeah, and I don't know off the top of my head a normal. We'd have to look that up.
Yeah.
There are players that get hit more.
Because they crowd the plate?
So Rizzo's one of the ones that crowds the plate, and he's known to get hit. He sits like right on top of the plate, so it's just part of it. Some get hit, and a lot of it is that they just are kind of, they're too close, or they're usually good hitters, and they stand kind of close, so the pitchers take advantage of that a little bit, and we'll hit them a little bit more. Yeah. Contreras. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, so last year, Contreras was hit by pitch 23 times for the season. This is just
for
last
this season. Got it.
So that was third. Caleb Durbin for the Brewers was hit 25 times, and the most was Randy Arozarena for the Mariners, former Rays player, who was hit 31 times.
Okay.
So to put that in perspective.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and when it comes to, because he was obviously played for the Cubs and then St. Louis, so he's been in that division a lot. So it makes sense that the Brewers, like, that's the team that has hit him the most, because it was 9 seasons that he's been in that division. So you're playing that team, and it was like the Brewers' 2 rivals. So it was like, it makes a little sense. But yeah, I saw that stat last night too. And Contreras also is very chirpy. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was several intentional ones, because he runs his mouth a lot. He did when he was in Chicago. He did when he was in St. Louis. And now he plays for the Red Sox and is probably doing the same thing. But he is one of those players that will do a little extra sometimes, and so I'm not totally surprised with that. But he's also one of the first ones to go after somebody if they hit him. So
I was talking to Brett Myers once about it, and he took me down a memory of his where he had to hit the batter, and he threw it so hard that it went over the guy's head. He totally missed him. And the next guy in line was Drew Henson, the former Michigan QB. Remember, he was trying for baseball. And he starts yelling at Brett, like, I'm next, bring it to me. He's like, well, I'm going to hit him. I got to hit him. I missed the first guy. And he's like, I nail him. And he comes out. He's like, I'm ready for him. I go for a perfect tackle. Well, my catcher's behind him and still has his mask on. And when I went to make the tackle, the catcher's mask hit my nose, flush, busted my nose wide open. He's like, I won the fight, but it looked terrible.
You got beat up.
They had to put a couple just to keep it. He's like, I played the rest of the game with it. Just unbelievable. But, listen, that's part of baseball. I think that people like bench clearing brawls. I mean, you don't want anyone to get hurt. You're not looking for someone to get pounded into the ground like MMA, but it's fun when they get fired up. That just brings a whole new life. I like football fights. Not where you're hurting anybody, but it just jazzes things up just a little bit extra. And those next few plays are just out of this world.
Football's so violent that I feel like the fights you don't even need, like, because they're fighting on the field.
It's nice, though. It still gives you a little juice.
But base brawls are so much fun, like you said, especially when no one gets hurt when the dugout's clear.
Yeah, that just by quick search. So it says that the MLB and the recent MLB seasons that averaged around 0.4 to 0.5 per team per game. The rate has increased historically due to higher velocities, which makes sense. The control is a little, a typical MLB team often accumulates between 60 and 80 hit by pitches over 162 games. So that's a lot for one of the players to be getting 20 to 30 when a team could get 60 for an entire year.
Right. Or 3.
One of the craziest things I ever saw was Aroldis Chapman, who obviously pitches like 103, 104 miles per hour, hit somebody in the ribs one time, and they posted the picture afterwards, and it was a crater in this guy's ribs. It just like indented the side, and it looked like the most painful thing in the entire world. But obviously, a lot of you don't want it to you see them come towards their head a lot of times, so they'll kind of like lean out of the way and then it'll hit their sides. But
they're supposed to move out of the way of the pitch.
It's hard to see
100 miles per hour.
fastball. I don't know.
Just saying. By the way, I'm assuming you watched some of the Cubs-Rays game yesterday. The Trop looked so much better. So the roof was taken off in that hurricane, and they completely redid it. Like I said yesterday, they played away from the Trop last year, Tropicana Field.
Yeah.
But the coolest part was there's an American flag that survived both hurricanes. And even though the roof was ripped off, the American flag was completely intact.
Wow.
Ken Babby, the former owner of the Jumbo Shrimp, was on the broadcast yesterday and was talking about it. And he was like, this is a true, like, America, comeback type of story.
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, he said they were all emotional yesterday with the opening of it because they worked so hard. And obviously, hurricanes represent so much,
for the community and what everybody
so many
goes
issues
through.
that your community goes through and things like that. Shane McClanahan did pitch yesterday, as you saw. He pitched 4 innings, allowed 2 earned runs, and then Brian Baker from former UNF player. He was there. I realized when I worked there, so like a little over 10 years ago, he closed it out. Rays won 6-4, but they're back at it today. And I saw the pitcher that the Rays were supposed to have in Drew Rasmussen. His wife is having her baby early, so he now can't pitch. He's a late scratch. So they're going to have a guy named Mason Englert as the pitcher. So no Rasmussen against Javier Assad in that game.
Yeah, which he just got called up yesterday because Cade Horton got sent to IL. So we'll see how that goes.
Baseball for you.
The relief I saw last night, I was like, I don't even know who this guy is. And for me to not know is like pretty serious. And then afterwards, I saw they asked him because he gave up a couple home runs, and he was just like, I don't really care, it was my debut, and I'm like, I don't know if that's the right thing to say, like, you don't care that you lose, because it's like your job is to save that, and the Cubs scored first, so you gotta be better if you're a relief pitcher.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes, indeed. All right, Lauren's late on the other side. Don't go anywhere. It's Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
So many golf courses, so much sunshine.
Blue skies, fresh cut grass, birds chirping.
1010XL.
The Purple Heart isn't just a name. It represents service, discipline, and earning trust. At Purple Heart Pools, that standard shows up most in pool renovations. If your pool is outdated or worn down, now's the time to upgrade. So when summer arrives, your pool is ready. From new finishes and tile to decking, lighting, and full transformations, every upgrade is handled with precision and attention to detail. Purple Heart Pools. Pool renovations done right.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Everybody, Mike Dempsey here for big number 1 Duval Ford. It's truck time in Jacksonville, and all month long you can drive home a brand new 2025 F-150 with no money down, no payments for 90 days, and 0% interest for 60 months. That's right, a new F-150 with 0 down and 0% for 60 months. See all the deals now at DuvalFord.com, or just stop by big number 1 Duval Ford, 1616 Cassett Avenue today. It's truck time at big number 1 Duval Ford.
Scholar athletes prepare themselves to win at life.
1010XL and Southeast Orthopedic Specialists shine the spotlight on the Scholar Athlete of the Week. Wednesdays on The Franchi Show. Checked by
The Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
When you need a mechanic you can trust, call Sam, Harry, or Joe at AA Automotive on Richard Street. From oil changes to complex engine repairs, AA Automotive promises expert service and honest pricing from a local family biz. AA Automotive on Richard Street.
home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
At Trinity Christian Academy, they believe every student is made for more. Their challenging curriculum, personal guidance, and more than 90% university acceptance rate help students graduate ready for what's ahead, academically, spiritually, and personally. If you're looking for a school that sees your child's full potential, TCA is ready to partner with your family. Apply at tcajax.org. tcajax.org.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or barstool bluster. At SportsForecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. SportsForecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
We've all been there. You hear about an incredible event Monday morning, but it happens Sunday. Stop missing out. Jacksonville is the flip side of Florida, and we have the solution. From under-the-radar sporting events to the perfect family outing or date night, Visit Jacksonville is your all-access pass to the city. Plan your 2026 season at visitjacksonville.com/locals. Visitjacksonville.com/locals. Or download the Visit Jax app for the full lineup. See what you've been missing.
Your tax refund has plans. A vacation? A flat screen TV? Well, your plumbing has other ideas. If you've been putting off a major repair, this is your chance to get the work done and save money. With the tax refund plumbing upgrade from Duck Rooter, get $500 off any major plumbing repair over $5,000. That's real savings. Duck Rooter delivers honest, upfront pricing and experienced pros who do it right. Call to schedule a free estimate. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com. Financing is available.
Instant Keys is turning 25. A quarter century of saving the day when your keys mysteriously vanish.
Seriously, it was just in my pocket.
Or when that remote fob decides to quit working.
The dealership is such a hassle.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, house keys, transponders, re-keys, and even high-tech smart locks. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For honest, professional locksmith service, use Instant Keys.
Transform your backyard with CSS fireplaces and outdoor living, fire pits, pergolas, screen enclosures, and outdoor kitchens. CSS handles the entire project from start to finish. You dream it, they can build it. Visit CSSOutdoor.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update brought to you by Gate Stores. It's finally Masters Week, the biggest week of the year for professional golf. Tomorrow, the annual Par 3 contest will take place before the tournament gets underway on Thursday morning. This year's field consists of 91 golfers, including amateurs, past champions, international champions, and some of golf's hottest names. It's 63 degrees at 3:04 time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
At first, the song sounded like a Prince song to me, but now it does not.
It did for a second.
Little 80s vibe to it. Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. RJ, what are you playing for us?
Houdini by Foster the People.
All right. Cool. Definitely not Prince. Let's chat a little college football. It is time for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
Spring football begins, well, practices have already begun, but we have several spring games on Saturday. Obviously, Florida fans are well aware that that one's on Saturday at noon, and you can hear it right here on the Superstation. But also Alabama and Tennessee, their spring games are Saturday at 2 p.m. So for all those Crimson Tide and Volunteer fans, I read about the quarterbacks for Alabama. The front runner is Austin Mack. So currently Austin Mack is beating out Keelan Russell, but obviously we'll learn more following the spring game. And then for Tennessee, it's a three-way race. George McIntyre, Faison Brandon. You'd think that that name would be reversed, Brandon Faison, but no. And then Ryan Staub, he is a Colorado transfer. The front runner is George McIntyre as of now. But again, we'll learn more after the spring game. But for FSU fans, there is no spring game. So, yes, they assume that Ashton Daniels will be the starting quarterback, beating out redshirt freshman Kevin Sperry. But Mike Norvell has not really said anything super positive about either guy. He's basically saying that they're both having good practices and bad practices at the same time. Yeah, I'm sure that he's just trying to keep it, a true competition and things like that. But yeah, he's not ready to make a decision at this point in time. And again, with no spring game, you're not going to really learn more about the quarterback controversy or battle. And that, to me, as a fan, is so disappointing. By the way,
so they're not having one at all, or they're just not?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
But there's lots of, But there's lots of schools that are not having spring games. Okay. LSU is not having one. Boston College is not having a spring game. More North Carolina, NC State, more schools in the ACC. Pitt is having a spring game. Theirs closed to the public.
Yeah, that's what I've heard more recently, but not having
certain
one.
Schools are just not having a spring game at all.
Well, they're scrimmaging. I mean, that's what the spring game basically is. It just is a little hyped up
Just
scrimmage.
open to fans,
You know?
yeah.
And open to, yeah.
Yeah, it's disappointing that we've gone away from this now that there's not the spring transfer portal window. Like, have the spring game, get your fans excited.
Yeah, and we talked about this last year with Florida State too, because obviously they were like closed everything off and nothing was open, which a lot of schools kind of started trending towards that, especially with that portal. But that's gone. But and we talked about it last year in the sense of you would think you would want to try and create some sort of positivity. If I was a Seminoles fan, what would scare me is if you're still closing it off this way, then are you worried that you were going to be upset with the product that is happening already? And that's what you don't want to see, because I think it's easy to hype up things during this time of year. It's not like you're full on tackling each other and doing all of that. So the wide receivers can make these one-handed catches and you can have all of these like those moments where you get to see some of these weapons. And if you bring a quarterback in for Florida State, you know, whatever you want to end up doing, he's more of a mobile guy than actually throwing the ball a ton. So let him use his legs and run around and create some plays that may try and create, even if it's fake, like some sort of excitement for that fan base, because it's depressing there right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm assuming all schools do it, because BC sends like videos of, you know, highlights of the spring practice the day before or earlier that day, you know, in an email, like you're on a part of the channel. I've got to imagine that's other schools do that a ton. So maybe that keeps you, you know, involved, entrenched. You know, I was just thinking while you guys were talking, like, okay, I would want to showcase, right? I'd be like, yeah, let's go show the world what we have. But maybe the reality is, because of the way social media is and how things can gain fire, like somebody sees a bad play, I'm like, oh, the quarterback stinks, or just all it takes is one person to do
like
it. Next
DJ
thing you know,
Lagway last week.
and then it just lights on fire. Next thing you know, you're like battling. Oh, well, you got to battle all throughout summer. They're not going to be good. There's outlook, whatever. Or let's just keep them in the dark and not let them see anything.
And then you release what you want to, because they'll release their clips of, you know, the catches or the throws. And you're like, oh, look at all of these positive things. And you create some sort of happiness from that.
Yeah.
Well, you at least normally have some media contingent that's able to attend practices, and then they put stuff out on social media. That's how I would say most fans are probably getting that information and getting to see those videos. But Florida State has closed its practices off to all media.
Well,
so yes, you have reporters that have sources, like Ashton Daniels is getting more first team reps than Sperry is. But at the same time, you still can't see them play in a Florida State uniform yet.
Yeah. I kind of get why they're doing it, but I'd like to see more access. You know what I mean?
If they were good last year, I think it would be different. He shut it all down last year. That's what I'm saying. He shut it all down last year, and Florida State only won 5 games.
No,
so
right.
that's why you'd almost be like, okay, now he's more excited about this football team.
Yeah, and I remember the year before when it was DJ Uyunglele, I remember it was limited, like media could go, but it was for like a very short portion of time. And I remember all the reports coming back being like, that was terrible.
Yeah, I was
this is going to be very bad. And so you're trying to avoid, I guess, that in a sense, but you also can't create any sort of excitement for the season if people aren't having some sort of access, you know?
Well, I think that's what they think the videos are for.
Yeah,
like,
their own
look
videos.
Look at that. The freshman make the catch down the sideline.
That's
Oh, he looks
spring
good.
practice or the spring game. Like back in the day, you know, Nebraska would have 100,000 people at their spring game. And
listen, you've probably heard it too, but I hear over and over the NFL, not just the Jags, but they want to control the narrative. Like they want to be in control of what is going out there. Now you can't control everything, obviously. That'll never work, but they want to try to control it as much as they can. You got to think colleges, and now if we're thinking college ball is going to pro, they're probably taking that kind of same approach. You know what I mean? Not giving all that, you know, to people until we're ready to give it to them.
Well, for the record, Indiana is having a spring game, and theirs is going to be a Thursday night at 8 o'clock that will be aired on the Big Ten Network.
Great.
And I, of course, looked at Indiana because of the fact that Indiana won the national championship last year. But
I'd showcase them too. Why not?
Florida's is not going to be televised like it wasn't last year. That hasn't been the last few years. So obviously just the fans that go in attendance get to see. But last year, obviously not seeing DJ Lagway throw a football, that sent off red flags immediately. And it should have.
Yeah.
But John
remember
Summerall's
Billy,
different.
remember he was like, oh, everyone's, you know, worried about his foot or something like that. Some stupid ass comment he made.
But
And everyone was
then-
like, what'd you just say?
Yeah. But then a couple years ago, you get the like holy crap, Jaden Baugh, and you have that excitement. So maybe there was other concerns when it comes to quarterback, but what you got was this little glimpse of hope as, holy crap, they have this running back that's going to be really good. And so that's
last year it was Dallas Wilson. 2 years ago, I came back and was like, y'all watch out for this freshman Jaden Baugh. And then last year, unfortunately, Dallas Wilson didn't play a lot because of injuries. But the one game that he did play, he was unbelievable. By the way, Miami's spring game is not this Saturday, but next Saturday, April 18th at 10:15 a.m., also not televised.
Okay, so in right or wrong, but the winners are showcased, and they're like, yeah, we got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
We're in the championship. We won the championship.
Well, Florida's kind of a winner.
You know? No, I know.
They're trying to be
I didn't
winners
mean that
again.
they weren't. I'm just saying, like, when you've won, you could, nothing you could say is going to hurt Signetti. Nothing's going to say is going to hurt Cristobal or the program. You could say they had the worst spring practice of all time. They look terrible. They're going to be awful this year. And everybody's like, shut up. They were in the championship.
And let's be honest. Okay, so for instance, Notre Dame's spring game is Saturday, April 25th at 2 p.m. on Peacock. So they are showcasing theirs or broadcasting theirs. What's happening April 25th, where most of the football world is going to be focused on? The NFL draft. So, and I'm not saying that's why Notre Dame placed it there. What I'm saying is, you have to be a diehard college football fan to glean
watch the spring game.
To glean a lot of information from these spring games. And then, when they used to be televised, you could obviously all of them. You could watch many more of them. Now you have to really pay attention.
Yeah.
So to me, the narrative is a bit of something that they shouldn't be worried about.
I agree. I would just like Liam says, let it rip. Get out there, and let it rip, and if we have a bad day, so what?
Let's see what you got, Aaron Philo and Tramel Jones Jr. That's honestly one of the main reasons I'm going to the spring game is I want to see what those two quarterbacks look like.
Yeah.
And who's ahead.
Norvell should honestly be like, okay, we're going to have a spring game, but just completely script the entire thing. Just be like, all right, let him complete a few passes to this person so we can make people excited.
And the defense is going to be terrible.
But then you do that for the defense. You say you get an interception on this play, but it's going to be against the backup quarterback.
It's like the Truman Show. Just script it all out.
Just script it.
All right, you fall down in the second place so our receiver can catch the football.
I love that. All right, from college football to the NFL, we go. On the other side, you're listening to Helmets and Heels 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Belly up to the bar and talk about your team.
You want to go where everybody knows your name.
Jacksonville's Sports Radio. 1010XL, where friends meet.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents. Look no further, though, than I-9 Sports, covering Duval, St. John's, and Clay to get your youngster in the game. Summer and fall registration open right now for flag football, soccer, t-ball, and basketball, plus girls volleyball at UNF and Bishop Snyder. Fields and gyms all over the First Coast, including Fort Family Field. And the best thing is, I-9 Sports offers sports year-round, so kids can always find a sport to play. i9sports.com, enter 1010 in the promo code for a discount.
It's a Helmets and Heels Tuesday, backed by Morgan & Morgan.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Frank Frangie here. If you're expecting a tax return this year, here's a smart way to use it. Invest in new tires from Big Chief Tire. It's one of the best things you can do for your car and your safety. I've been going to Big Chief for years because they do it right every time. Put that refund to good use and hit the road with confidence. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 today and let Big Chief take care of you. That's Big Chief Tire.
The Masters is coming.
Oh, yeah. You know the players, so you pick them. You could win $1,000 of jewelry from Beard's Diamonds, covered by Endless Summer Roofing. Go to 1010XL.com now.
Firehouse Subs is adding a new heavy hitter to the roster, the Chicken and Cheddar Rancher. Grilled chicken, melted cheddar, crispy bacon stacked high with fresh toppings, creamy buttermilk ranch. The Chicken and Cheddar Rancher, only at Firehouse Subs.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
Hey, Hicken here. Beat the spring cleaning rush and call Zero Res. This month, take 20% off your whole home air duct cleaning and start breathing fresh air again. Visit ZeroResJacksonville.com.
Zero Res.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Tell me if this is you, because it's definitely me. I go to bed thinking, tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up early, jump in that ice bath I just bought, have a good breakfast, go for a morning walk, and order a veggie for my side instead of fries. Then the morning arrives. I press snooze, skip everything else I planned because I'll do it tomorrow. But that's the Awaken 180 difference. Tomorrow is today. It's so easy. You want to do it. Your coach will be there to help you do it. You won't want to let her down. Accountability, ease, feeling great. That's the Awaken 180 difference. Now you can download an app, Google a weight loss plan, or buy the latest gadget. But who actually helps you follow through when you couldn't do it before? I lost 40 pounds with Awaken 180, and it was easy. No meds. I couldn't lose 5 pounds in a month on my own. Awaken 180 works, and it continues to work because it's set up to not let you fail. Succeed like we did at Awaken180weightloss.com.
XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
Is this Prince? Just kidding. I knew it was. RJ Saunders is playing the hits today as we wind through this Tuesday afternoon. Taylor Dahl is here. Tom McManus. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. All right, so to the NFL today. 9 different teams' offseason programs began. Arizona, Atlanta, Buffalo, Cleveland, Las Vegas, Miami, the New York Giants, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee, because, of course, they all have new coaches. The Ravens started yesterday. So I want to ask you, Tom, how voluntary are these workouts? Since you're a former player, we've long called them voluntary workouts. We know Tom Coughlin at one point in time when he was the EVP of the Jaguars went to the podium and said, we expect all players to be here for these workouts. The NFLPA didn't love that. But truly, like from hearing from your coach and the other staff members, like how voluntary are they?
I think today you could probably get away with not going.
Okay.
Back when, it was more mandatory, than voluntary. I think there were a couple guys, the stars can do what they want.
Yeah.
As long as they come back in shape and they want them all there just because you're building the camaraderie.
Yeah.
You're hanging.
Brunel was always here.
Well, I think
Jimmy,
well, the thing for us, what Coughlin did for us was like, look, if you go to 90% of the off-season workouts, you don't have to do the conditioning test before camp.
Ah,
and we're
there's
like,
the
all right,
carrot.
that's awesome. I don't want to do that thing. The thing's awful.
Right.
And then you got to go practice. No, I'd rather not do that. So that was a nice incentive. Again, I think the majority of guys will be there because they'll want to be there. And it's not just while they're working out. You have so much free time. It's one of the best parts of the gig, really.
Mm-hmm.
You get paid to work out. You got to work out for like 3 hours a day. Maybe you go do something else, like whatever, yoga or karate, whatever you're doing, boxing, whatever that may be. But other than that, you're free. You're free to be with your family, free to be with your friends, what have you. There's no curfew. There's no, we had different check-in times, so you could go there real early, go there mid-morning, you could go there late morning if you wanted to. They didn't really like the late morning because they knew late morning meant you were probably out the night before. So you tried to fool them and go to the middle one.
Yeah, I'm sure you fooled them. Yeah.
Try to get around that. But it is good that the majority are there, because it does build that camaraderie. Lifting together is fun. You just kind of, that's what you do. You're trying to get stronger. You have a lot of laughs. There's a lot of getting together and hanging out and that kind of stuff. So, but to answer your question, I would say, like, for Liam, he's not going to make. again, the NFLPA, a bunch of wimps, how can you say that's mandatory? Poor guys, you poor babies have to go work out 3 hours a day. How dare you tell them it has to be mandatory?
And a lot of you make
Unbelievable.
millions.
Yeah, you're making all this money. Like, shut up and go work out. Like, your personal trainer's gonna be that much better. I don't think so.
And that's what you do see that a lot is I'm going to stay.
with my own trainer, yeah.
Josh
Yeah,
Hines
my
Allen
dad
a few
did it,
years ago
Yep.
did that. He decided to stay in Arizona.
Again, the stars can, as long as they come back in great shape.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then even if they don't, they still can because they're stars and they're getting paid a bunch of money and they know they got leverage. And you can't make me. You really can't make. I mean, if I sit there and say, look, I just really like going to my guy in Arizona. He's better than what he knows me the best. I've been with him forever. I'm going. And even if the coach like, well, I really would like you to stay here. It's like, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll come for a week, and then I'll go back out, or I'll come, I got to be here for the mini camps, that kind of stuff. I think when that starts happening, then they all should,
Yeah,
they should be.
mini camp is mandatory.
Yeah, but even the OTAs, like
But,
once you
yeah.
start hitting the field, like doing football stuff and
Yeah.
not just working out, you should have 100%. I mean, you need everybody then. You need the receivers, the QB, the timing, the chemistry. You need all that stuff. You're not hitting, but you're moving around a lot, and you're still playing, football on air and that kind of thing. So it is an important thing, but
But it's fun.
I mean, you're working out. Like what else are you gonna do?
out for
Like,
3
you're a
hours a
football
day? If I
player.
got paid millions, sure.
Let me tell you what
Sign
my
me up.
schedule was like in the off season,
Yeah.
if I may. Okay, and this was before I'd spend it down south, for a few months. But now back then I didn't get up early, right? I didn't get up late, but I get up like around 8:30. I'd go to breakfast, eat a bunch of food.
This is your own breakfast or breakfast at the stadium?
No, this is I'm not even. I'm just talking on my own time.
Okay,
right?
got it.
Okay, we'll even do it through the program. Say we started the program.
Okay.
I'd get up. I'd go to the stadium. I'd eat.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get dressed. I'd go work out. I'd shower. I'd be done at 1. I'd be back at the beach at 2.
Okay.
Probably take a nap. Depending on the day, because I always did my friend Tellis, I'd always go to his house and train boxing and taekwondo and different kind of things. I really loved doing that. That was more at night. So I didn't do that every night. I'd either go to happy hour maybe, or go to dinner, maybe go out, depending on the night, and then just do it all over again. Now, if I didn't have to go in town, like to go work out, I would just kind of same deal, get up, go eat, get ready to work out, go to the gym, go eat lunch, take a nap, go to the field and run, come back, shower up, go to dinner, and then do
Hard
whatever
life.
at night.
Hard life.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's the easiest part of your gig. And they pay you to do it. They don't pay you your salary.
Yeah.
They just pay whatever your incentive is in your contract. I think I got like $25,000 to do it, but other guys get, $100,000 or whatever it may be. And all you got to do is show up, and we're 4 days a week. It's not like 7 days.
Yeah.
It's not even a 5-day work week. It's like 12 hours a week. It's the simplest thing in the world. And it's a great gig, but it is good to have because that off time, that's when you're bonding a lot.
Yeah.
You're hanging out. Married guys, your families are hanging out. Single guys are hanging out. You're just doing your thing and just really enjoying being around each other. And then you go work out together. It's just good Neanderthal stuff. you got to do as a football
In the first
team.
hour, we played that Liam Coen cut on Trevor Lawrence, and just everything he learned about Trevor in the first year. And he mentioned towards the end of it, we were hanging out in San Francisco, kind of a
Different lens,
lens, and I thought that was cool too and interesting because that's like kind of like boss and employee relationship a little bit, right? Even though Trevor makes more than Liam.
Let me tell you a great story. So, Coach Coughlin, first year. Now I've known him at BC, and we're not friends yet, like we are, and we became friends as I was a player. But I always thought of him as just this hard ass disciplinarian. I just, I knew with the Jags, I just had to, not screw up and do what he wanted me to do and all that. So he was just that kind of guy. That was his persona, and I'll never forget. When my dad was sick. So I only told the trainers because I wanted to get my dad up to our doctors to just have him get checked out. I said, please, you don't have to tell anybody. I'm not, my couple, Pete Mitch knew and Brant Boyer knew, but that kind of thing. Anyway, so I go to mass a night before a game because we got word in Thanksgiving that he was ill. And I'm sitting at Mass. Father Tom, who did my mother's service, he's doing the Mass. And the Mass just gets done. And I'm just sitting there kind of thinking about my dad. I'll never forget, I'm against the wall in the front row, just seats that they made a makeshift in like a banquet hall type thing, meeting room. And Coach Coughlin came and sat next to me, put his arm around me. And he just said, "Hey, I heard about your dad." Really softly. Didn't want to looking for anybody to hear it or anything. And he just said, I heard about your father. I am really sorry. I know how close you are with him. Anything we can do, you go down there as much as you can. If you got to miss, I don't want you to miss, but if you got to get down there, you got to see him. I understand. You just go do what you have to do, and we'll be here for you. And after that, I saw him in a different light. I was like, man, I'd kill somebody for him. I would go do anything for him because he just showed me that he cared that much about me. And I didn't go to him and say, "Hey, Coach, my dad's dying. I feel bad." No, he found out, the trainer told him, and then he did it in his way. And that's one thing he doesn't get enough credit for, he would be hard on you, no doubt, but he would also come up and give you a little, "Hey, good job yesterday, just keep going," whatever it was. He'd be wicked hard on you too. I'm sure a lot of players, they'd be like, "Man, he was really hard on me." And he was, but he just wanted to win so bad that was his way. But when he did that for me, so when Liam said that, I'm like, it's a different scenario. But you do, because look, they're not that far apart in age. If they weren't employee or coach and player, and they just knew each other, they might have a bond with, like, man, I really, like the young guy, like you too, you being an older person and they're just cool and you want to hang out with them, and they could be 10 years older and have their friends, and you're like, man, you're more mature than my friends and you're cooler than my friends. I do different stuff with, and you get that bond. You almost look up to them. Like, in a way, like, you've been through it more than me. You're more experienced than me, and you're helping me, and I'm, doing it together. Yeah.
Liam wanted to be an NFL quarterback, obviously.
Yeah.
They both have young families. Liam has the two boys. Trevor has a little girl.
Just think about, like, friends you have, the personal ones that you do anything for. Now go play a football game with that person. You know what I mean? And then you're like, oh, man, I'm the brotherhood, like this, their family. I'd kill for them, do anything for them, that type of thing. So that was great to see, and it's cool that they can do that. You know what I mean? I doubt Brunell could hang out with Coughlin back then. Today, easily, because Coach changed over time. But I think if Coach looked back, he probably could have, kind of probably make that work. But that wasn't probably something that was on the forefront. But it's a new era. I love it. I think it's fantastic. And, just from my own experiences, like, that would make me want to win for him even more.
Yeah, I think that's a great story about Coach Coughlin, because we recognize him for all the J-Fun stuff. But I think what's sometimes unseen is him going into those hospital rooms with those kids and those families. Like, that's the hardest part, right? To face people when they're at their not their worst, but in their darkest hour.
Yeah.
And he goes in, and obviously the J Fund helps them financially and emotionally and spiritually and all those things. But it's physically being there when they're facing such difficult times that I think that's amazing.
Him and Kelly came to my mom's service. It was just awesome.
That's so nice.
It's just, and he said afterwards, like, you did a really good thing. Your mother deserved it. She was a great lady. And he knew her. He knew her from all the, years of BC and the Jags and being around. So yeah, man, it's great that they have that bond, and they're developed. Liam and Trevor developed, and I'm sure there are other players too that feel the same. And once you get that, man, again, it's a quick story. Dick Vermeil, he would always say, like, show them that you care. That's number one key to leadership. Show them that you care. Show them that you care, because when you do, that you really care about somebody and they believe it, and you're consistent with it, no matter how hard you are on me, I will still always love you. You know what I mean? I'll still always respect that because of that kind of bond.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really a special thing.
I think one of the things when it comes to, just as we're talking about the off season and what this part of the voluntary part of things, some of the players that I think it would massively benefit is like a Caleb Bransaw, who didn't he missed almost the entire year. And obviously some of the injuries, it depends where they are and how some of that things. But a Bransaw is the first one that pops in my head, because you get drafted to this team, you get hurt in camp. And so we've heard from guys that had been on the team of when they're not playing, you lose some of that connection to build it. Yeah, you're isolated from the team in a lot of ways. So guys that were injured early in the season or in camp or missed the whole season, whatever the case may be, those guys I think could use this a lot because you missed all of those chances, not only to work out, but obviously being able to get to know the team a little bit better too.
And the coaches
And
are
the coaches,
around. You see them, and you just you're seeing your teammates, seeing the medical staff because you get treatment. Sit in the cold tub, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, the majority of the team needs it. There are probably a couple guys that maybe don't need it, quote unquote, but they should be there anyway.
Yeah, those true veterans, like if Calais Campbell was on this team, like Calais
Hey, coach, I need a couple days off. No problem.
Okay, exactly. Which, by the way, we got a good report on Caleb Bransaw from Liam Coen last week at the owners' meetings. He was discussing him and said he hasn't been around him, but the trainers have, and he looks great.
Yep,
And so, yeah, he's running around, so that is good news for sure. All right, the golden moment awaits on the other side. It is Helmets and Heels 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Welcome to the circus.
You are not a monster.
1010XL.
Frank Frangie here. I've been telling you about Stanley Pools for years. But you know my favorite thing about this family-owned company? They take such good care of my pool. All I have to do is relax and enjoy it. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and their weekly maintenance makes owning a pool effortless. You can trust Stanley Pools to build your pool or upgrade it. They've done both for me. Call 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Spring is here. Time to get your lawn ready before summer heat and bugs set in. Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. They offer preventative chinch bug treatments, pre-emergent weed control, and granular fertilization, all with no contracts. This helps prevent problems before damage occurs, keeping lawns thicker, greener, and stronger. Call today to schedule your spring treatment. Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
Helmets and Heels Tuesday is
Litigated by Morgan & Morgan.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yo, E.T. here. And you know that on the field, preparation wins championships, right? Well, the same goes for your health. Right here in my side of town in Fleming Island, Encore Research Group is helping locals take charge through cutting-edge research studies. Everything from weight loss to diabetes and hypertension. Their team of local, multi-specialty doctors is focused on advancing medicine and keeping our community healthy. If you want to see if you qualify, check them out at EncoreDocs.com.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
Hello, I'm Ed Jackson, president of Ned Jackson Income Tax. Ned Jackson Income Tax has been preparing tax returns in Jacksonville for over 80 years. Our tax preparers at Ned Jackson Income Tax have years of knowledge and experience to help you get your highest possible tax refund and are fully trained on all IRS updates, including the One Big Beautiful Bill. Visit one of Ned Jackson's 4 locations, including our downtown office at 255 North Liberty Street. That's Ned Jackson Income Tax, 356-0349.
New home, same great golf. This year's Coastal Equipment Guggen Open tees off at the Golf Club of Southampton, Monday, April 27th. Score a hole-in-one to win a Kubota RTV 520 utility vehicle from Coastal Equipment. Edwin Watts Golf has great proximity prizes. For a chance for you and a partner to play, text Guggen to the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. Thanks to our sponsors, CSS Outdoor, the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Union 234, and Royal Pest Control.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
Chatting a little bit about prospects. We've kind of continued this conversation over the last couple weeks, and we'll continue leading up to the draft. But we've had a lot of the conversations of what the Jags can do with that 56th pick, what position groups we like and don't like, and what that looks like. But I saw something recently, because I do think that even with Josh Hines-Allen and Trayvon Walker, a lot of the conversation is, you know, when and where do they add another edge rusher? Because most people would agree that you feel like you still want that third person, because that was something that you just feel like you haven't had. Also, Tommy, I mean, we've now had this conversation a lot of, do you move Trayvon inside more and go get an edge rusher that you can develop and have him more on the outside and move Trayvon more on the inside? I heard somebody talking a couple of days ago that in that Bills game, he played 10 snaps on the inside, which I guess was the highest in any game that he was in any one game that he was moved to the inside. So I could see a world where you see a lot more of that, and with the new contract, we'll see what it looks like. But some of the names that we are going to be talking about, a lot of these more first rounders, David Bailey obviously sitting at the very top of this draft, probably going to go in the top 5. And that obviously the Texas Tech edge rusher. But this chart goes through and they talk about the pass rush win rate, which is something that talks about a lot in the NFL too. Some of the, when you talk about Myles Garrett's and Max Crosby's and Trey Hendrickson's, that's one of the numbers that you talk about the most. The leaders in this group of draftees this year and edge rushers with the highest pass rush win rate. It's always so hard to say. Reuben Bain and David Bailey, obvious ones. Those are two that you see sitting at the top that a lot of people are talking about. Cassius Howell out of Texas A&M. He's another one. Possibly, I'm seeing him more mocked at the end of the first. Some people have him slipping into the top of the second. So we'll see where he ends up going with in that group.
Prisco projects Cassius Howell to go 32nd to Seattle, because they need more help.
They need more help
getting to the quarterback. Prisco has Bain going 3rd overall to the Cardinals and David Bailey going 4th overall to the Titans. So don't really want to see David Bailey with the Titans, but that's what Prisco's mocking.
Yeah, there's one guy that I've grown to like, and that is a little late, that I think the Jags could get definitely at 56 and maybe even that next pick, and he went to Texas Tech too, Romello Height. He was their other edge rusher. And so the interesting thing, we were talking a little bit about him on break, Lauren, is because he did go to several different schools, I think 4 or 5 different schools during his college career. And he had his most production at Texas Tech. And Texas Tech this last year was the #1 scoring defense in college, or #2 scoring defense in college football. They were really good, but they had a lot of guys up there that were getting sacks. There was like 7 different guys that they rotated, multiple of them in double digit, or at least close to double digit sacks. So how much was that factored in? But on this pass rush win rate chart, he is the 6th highest of these edge rushers, just behind a Cassius Howell, a Bailey, a Bain, some of those guys that you see up at the top. So just a name to keep in mind, because he is somebody that you see in that realm of the Jags first, that 56 pick, but also some have them going even a little later into the 3rd round.
Yeah, and guys like that is what I'm talking about. Like, you slide Trayvon down and let them rush on the edge. I like the kid out of Illinois, Gabe Jackus. He's a former champion wrestler. 6'4", 260. He's got the length. Malachi Lawrence, I know RJ likes him as well. He's got the bend. That guy's got natural bend. 6'4", 250 out of UCF. So those two guys, they could be a nice fit coming off the bench, used when needed. Maybe play Sam if they had to, but you really wouldn't need them to, I don't think.
Prisco has Malachi Lawrence going 26th to the Bills.
That's
so
high
everybody
for him.
who's thinking, that the Jags maybe could get him at 56, 30 picks later, that may end
Well,
up
that's
not
one
being
guy's
available.
opinion, and he knows a lot. I'm not saying that, but you see other, I'm looking somewhere, he's like the 9th edge rusher ranked, so I don't know if you're going to have 9 go that quick, but maybe Maybe they rip off 9. You know, you never
There's
know.
always a run on something.
Absolutely.
It's not going to be quarterback this year. Yeah. Much to our dismay.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. It's going to be interesting that after Ty Simpson, when do they fall? The QBs.
When do they start going?
Yeah, I would imagine the third round.
You think it'll be that big of a gap?
Yeah, I think Carson Beck will be somewhere in the third round. Nussmeier, maybe, unless teams, again, start
panicking a little bit.
Yeah, desperate, and there's a run on quarterbacks in the second round. I just don't see the run coming in the first round. Like
No,
what
I
we've
don't
seen in the
know.
past.
Right? You don't feel like it's gonna. But that's interesting, man. That's a big. Not having any in the second round. But that doesn't mean you can't find a good QB. You know, the Nussmeier kid, maybe the Klubnik kid. He might be a later draft pick.
I think later
for
round
somebody.
for him.
Yeah, but no. Back to the edge. Again, it's funny, Dexter. Yeah, we'd love Dexter Lawrence, but let's just say that's not happening. But what do you do to help out? You move Trayvon down, and you get one of these quick twitch, fast, long, relentless pass rushers that we so desperately need on the other side of Josh Hines.
If they don't get a guy like that, is that an indication that they believe BJ Green is that type of player for them, right? Because certainly a little undersized, but twitchy.
He's got the natural bend too.
Yeah.
He's a natural pass rusher. I like him a lot. And it's funny. We're looking we do forget Danny Strigout too. I think could be a Rob Meyer type. Big defensive end. It's got some pass rush ability. It's really good against the run. And then B.J. Green, the second, man, he's shown that he can dip, get around that corner, and deliver some violence. Remember the penalty guy? We're like, penalty? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It was absolutely perfect pass
That happened
rush.
a lot last year.
And hit on the QB. But
they called the Jag for defensive penalties that we all shook our heads at.
And that's what I think this draft more than anything. Previous drafts, it's felt like there's a lot of needs. Like there are holes to fill, and you've got to draft players in these first 3 rounds that you want starting. And obviously, you want that anyways if you're spending high picks on some of these guys. But this draft almost feels like when the draft picks, especially at 56, is going to tell us more about how they feel about the roster more so than maybe some obvious holes we think. Because I think as we're going through this, if they draft a interior defensive lineman, then what happens with Eric Armstead? Some conversations are going to come out of that. Or maybe like, okay, well, they don't want Trayvon as much on the inside if they go that way. If they go edge rusher, then maybe it's like, okay, maybe they do want to do that. Linebacker is an obvious one where it's like that is one of the biggest, if not the biggest needs on this roster right now. If they grab a safety a little higher, maybe they're not as comfortable in that safety room, or they don't know what they have out of Caleb Bransaw, so they want to bring somebody in here just in case and really have some of those battles. And so some of them, I think, especially those first few picks that they have, is more so going to tell us how they feel about this roster than maybe previous years. It's been like, oh gosh, here's 5 different position groups that we need, and you have to try and fill this within one draft. And it's a little different this year, I feel like.
I remember saying last year, if they pick an offensive tackle, then that dictates to us what they feel about Walker Little.
Yeah.
If they go with a defensive tackle, that tells us how they feel about an Eric Armstead. If they go with a running back,
number 56 pick with the second
for last year, with the fifth, with the 5th pick overall, because obviously everyone was kind of mocking whether it was Will Campbell or Mason Graham, Ashton Genty a little bit towards the end, Armand Membo, like stuff like that. It was like, well, that pick is going to certainly tell us, and then they ended up obviously moving up and told us that they are going to have a unicorn in Travis Hunter, and we'll see how that goes this year. All right, the pest of the day on the other side, it's Helmets and Heels, 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
When you step into a courtroom, you're stepping into a fight. Someone wins, someone loses. I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and at Hastings Injury Law, we've got the experience you want in your corner if you or a loved one suffer a personal injury or a wrongful death. We're here to fight for you. So if you get hit back with Hastings Injury Law, offices Jacksonville. Find us on the web at 904hitback.com or call our 24-hour helpline, 904-HITBACK.
If you're thinking about getting a new roof sometime this year, Endless Summer Roofing can help. I'm Claudia, owner of Endless Summer Roofing. Stronger materials, expert installation, real peace of mind. A new roof isn't just an upgrade. It's the primary source of protection for your family home. Visit EndlessSummerRoofing.com for a free inspection today, and I'll make sure you're ready for tomorrow. Endless Summer Roofing. Protecting your home from Florida's endless summers.
Hey, Jacksonville, listen up. Termite swarms are active right now, and once they get inside, damage can happen fast. Termites don't knock. They silently attack the structure of your home, leaving behind costly repairs and long-term headaches. Lauren Brooks here. Protect what you've worked hard for with the proven protection homeowners trust. Terminix it with advanced termite treatment and prevention solutions. Visit Terminix.com to schedule your free termite inspection today.
It's a Helmets and Heels Tuesday.
Backed by Morgan & Morgan. For the people. Dial pound law.
Need protection? Call Craig and Christine Kaprosky at Goosehead Insurance. The Kaproskys are a husband-wife team committed to finding you the right coverage at the right price in just a few short minutes. For home, auto, flood, or specialty insurance, Craig and Christine Kaprosky are the answer. Craig.Kaprosky at Goosehead.com.
Lauren Brooks here, and if you're getting a tax refund this year, here's a great way to use it. Invest in new tires from Big Chief Tire. I've trusted the Parman family for years because they always take care of my car like it's their own. New tires make your ride safer and more reliable, and that's worth every penny. Schedule the best service in town at WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 and put your refund to work.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
Your AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
Here's a health and wellness tip from orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Every joint in the body was designed for movement. Inactivity can cause stiffness, weakness, weight gain, and decrease in overall balance. So you should strive for at least 30 minutes a day of exercises that promote flexibility like yoga, strengthening with weights, and cardiovascular fitness like walking, swimming, or biking. The more you move, the better you will feel and your overall health will benefit. Let's get healthy, Jacks. Go Jags.
Stay healthy with orthopedic specialists of Jacksonville.
Hi, I'm Amber Frangie. By now, you've heard the story. How I heard about how much weight some of my dad's friends at the radio station lost with Awaken 180, so I wanted to try it myself. Well, the truth is, it's really incredible. I just met with my Awaken 180 coach, and I've now lost more than 150 pounds. That is a real number, not an exaggeration. Some of you may think, wow, if she lost that much, how much had she gained? Well, that's a story for another day. But what I can tell you is Awaken 180 has changed my life, and maybe saved my life. I thought I might have been at a point of no return, but with Awaken 180, you never are. There's no medications, no fad diets, just a coach you meet with weekly who you can trust, a meal plan that makes sense, and that you'll enjoy. It's honestly a miracle. If you want to lose weight, even if you have a lot of weight to lose like me, Awaken 180 truly is the way to go. If that's where you are, try Awaken 180 today.
I'm Frank Frangie, but take it from my kid. If you want to lose weight the right way, call 1-844-346-1800 or visit awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. Time now for today's Pest of the Day. It's always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. And yes, the termite swarms are active right now in our area, so make sure you have Terminix come out and make sure that you don't have any termite issues. They do a great job taking care of everything at our house, Everbank Stadium, ViStar Ballpark, ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, and all of your favorite event venues around town. So in women's basketball, I don't know if y'all have seen the story. I'm sure you have, but Gino Ariama ended up getting in the face of Don Staley. They exchanged words. What's the issue to me is that was talked about more than like the actual national championship in women's basketball, which ended up not being a close game. UCLA destroyed South Carolina, which is a whole nother issue that there's not enough competition when it comes to that tournament. But I feel like women's sports sometimes when this stuff happens, people talk more about the drama than they do the actual sport. And again, the game wasn't close on Sunday, on Easter Sunday, but still, like, you have to behave, I guess, so that people still talk about your sport more than they talk about these types of things.
Was it last year with the Angel Reese?
No, that's what I was about to say.
Or was that 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I was literally about to say
that's all
that.
anybody's talked about.
Nobody would be able to tell you the score from that game. What they would tell you is Angel Reese did the little hand motion in front, and then her and Caitlin Clark had their whole thing leading up to that, and that was talked about way more than the basketball game, the actual basketball game. And so I do think same thing. I saw way more of the drama surrounding and the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese year. That was just because they had their little thing, and it was a lot of that. This year, it's not even, I don't know, and we obviously don't talk a ton of WNBA, but I don't know the players we're talking about as much if they are as, when you're talking about an Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and what they were that season and the personalities that were brought out of that. It's more so like coach, like I've talked so much or seen so much about Dawn Staley and like more of her kind of few things that she's had. She wasn't even wearing a South Carolina like clothing during the game. Did you see that? Go back, watch the game. She's wearing like a different sweatshirt. It's not even any South Carolina. So I saw people tweeting about that. I saw people tweeting about, somebody asked her about a USC commit, and it was the wrong USC. They were talking, it was a Trojans commit, and not hers. So she was kind of like, wrong USC. I've seen more of that than I have anything of the basketball game.
Yeah. Well, that's supposed
Gino seemed like a sore loser in that one, from what I watched and
I kind
witnessed.
of read the same thing.
And South Carolina's been a really good hoop team for the women, right? They won it last year, didn't they?
Yeah. But it doesn't help this whole Big Ten versus SEC as the Big Ten wins that too when it comes to the women's basketball national championship. All right, let's say hello to the Frangie Show.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnik. Nimnik Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnik Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, Hayes, who was the biggest loser?
JJ LaSalle.
Oh.
Yeah, by 1 point.
Oh,
1
man.
point.
Yeah.
So
what were the players you guys had last night?
So it became between Frangie and JJ. So JJ had Morez Johnson from Michigan, who got off to a great start and then did nothing. And then Frank had Terrace Reed, and they were tied going in. Frank had Terrace Reed, the outstanding big guy for UConn. And then I was in last going in, but I had two guys. And Lindenberg actually played. And so I ended up being okay by a pretty good bit. But so it came down to JJ had maybe a 2-point lead with 4 minutes left.
Wow.
And Terrace Reed, who's a 58% free throw shooter, gets fouled, makes both. One that bounces almost to the roof of the building and goes in. And then he gets back to the line and makes two more. And so that's what settled it. So Frank won by a point. And
that's
so
insane.
It's insane.
What time did the text go out last night?
Yeah, I will give JJ a ton of credit because he immediately was like, orders please,
okay.
And I'd have been walking in traffic, but he handled it very, very well, very mature. And so he's already made the run. We've got our bonos. We're certainly excited about that. Appreciate Ray on Bono's right here in Bowden. Basically, you can hit a driver to the Bono's.
I have that Bono's phone number saved in my phone.
That's part of the next punishment. You guys have to walk to the Bono's.
There you go. That actually, that wouldn't be too bad. I think it might actually be good for us. But
just be careful crossing Bowden.
Yeah, good point. But yeah, so we'll certainly we'll break that down. We'll talk about Michigan's big win. We'll look at the odds for next year. I'm surprised Florida's as high as they are. So maybe the Vegas boys and girls know a little something that maybe the public doesn't know yet in regards to who is coming back to Gainesville. So we'll talk all about that. And we'll start looking at the Masters. Obviously, we have the featured groups. That'll be a lot of fun. That'll be our next Loser Monday. We'll do that this week. So JJ's on the clock. And so lots of fun stuff coming up on the Frangie Show.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks,
Thank
Hayes.
you.
We'll be listening. Beautiful. Yeah. The Vegas boys saw no Olivier Ryu and now no Micah Hanlogton and no Xavier Lee. And they said, okay, we're going to move Florida up as far as the odds are concerned. All right.
Interesting strategy.
Yeah, really.
They believe that Todd will replace their production.
Yeah,
Obviously, not Olivier Rios. He was on the bench, but the other guy's production with guys. Maybe that'll be better. We shall see. All right, that'll do it for us today. For Tom McManus, for Taylor Dahl, for RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for talking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but don't go anywhere. The Frangie Show is next.
Boots are gonna walk.